things, Road to Junior Worlds 2024, Malta. I'm Bobby Tan from Performotion, and joining us today from Sweden, we have Alba Boström. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. So,
Yeah.
Alba, to introduce to our viewers, she is one of the most decorated lifters in Sweden. She is currently one of the best female powerlifters in Sweden. Am I right?
Yeah. So I'm the
Yeah.
ranked number one in Sweden throughout history, if you want to check on that.
Yeah.
At least
And it's
nationally.
just starting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun because I had a lot of role models when I started powerlifting. And, like Isabella von Weissenberg, for example. She was the best in Sweden, and also a girl named Sofia Loft. Like, they were the best, and they were like, when I started competing, they were basically not competing anymore, but they were legends, and not only
Yeah.
in Sweden, but like internationally. And then I just found out like, oh, now my name on the rankings is like atop of them. That's cool, just because when I can think about it like that, otherwise I don't really care. But when I think about it like these legends that I looked up to when I started, like my name is above theirs now. That's cool.
Yeah, it is. And now you're the role model that everyone looks up to in Sweden.
I hope so.
So you competed recently at Open Worlds as a junior.
Yeah.
How did you do?
I think I did well under circumstances. I've been on the road when I did my first international competition. My first World Championships was at juniors. It was in 2021, and it was against the same Italians that I competed against now. And they were also still juniors. And at that time, Chiara, who came second now, she put a world record down for the juniors. I think it was 5:05. And I think it was 5:05.5, something like that. And, that was the world record. And, since then, I've been chasing that because at that Worlds, I was young, I was stupid, I didn't know anything, I was really nervous, I screwed a lot of things up, but I believed I was gonna win.
That's important, man.
Yeah, I came third because it was just like I just wasn't strong enough, and I actually screwed up my training because I overshot everything to try and get super strong to like get to them, because I couldn't accept that I'm not squatting 180 kilos, but I was like, I'm squatting 160, 150. But I just imagined that on Worlds, I am going to be able for the first time squat at 180. So I was like very new. But either way, she took that world record. And now at this meet, that's the one thing that I'm proud of Open Worlds, is both the prep to it was really great. The decision to make it, which I guess we'll get into, but doing it. And then I actually not only finally was able to, 3 or 4 years later, to take that world record from Chiara, but I was able to put I think it was 13, 14 and a half. I did 5:25 at least.
Yeah, you did.
So it was like almost 19.5 kilos on it. It was. So that was really cool. And that was me like not underperforming, but doing like way less than I'm like in my deadlift than I've done in the past, because I went Hail Mary for the last deadlift to try to qualify for World Games. So just taking that world record, that was huge. Because I've been wanting to do it for so long, and I know now for Junior Worlds there are a lot of people that can take that world record, like the world record that I had, and now it's like I don't think it will be relevant for Junior Worlds anymore. So it's nice to actually like be the one that gets it or took it as well, especially competing against Chiara and Sarah. And then obviously I came fourth. I PR'd my total in the 63s with 25 kilos, but it was like
Worlds, right?
Yeah, since a year ago, or less than a year ago. But then it was just at nationals before that I did in the 69s 5:20.5 and 5:21.5, and I knew that I would be able to like do the same thing even though I cut weight, so I was not worried about that. But so obviously it was a PR total, but I still kind of in a way underperformed. I wished for more, obviously, but it was a great learning experience. I'm really happy because the thing was I went in knowing I had nothing to lose. Like I decided to do it. I wasn't going to do it, decided to do it. And when I decided to do it, it was like, because we met last year's Junior Worlds, actually, you and me,
Yeah.
at the airport on the way home when I was like super sad and mad about coming second
Same.
with 2 kilos. Yeah. And but so I told you, like, I'm not gonna do open worlds. I didn't think about it. I was just, I'm gonna
Yeah.
train for the next year's junior worlds. That's it. But then I realized that, okay, I actually have an opportunity that best case scenario, if I have a perfect day and maybe my competitors don't, or they have a perfect day, but it's like they just haven't gotten stronger, that maybe if all stars align, I actually could win. And I could definitely maybe there's a huge chance that I can qualify for World Games. It's going to be tied. And I decided to like just do it. And so I had nothing to lose. I wasn't going to do it anyway. I got away from there 4th in the world and, a world record. So it's not too bad, but I'm not satisfied with it. That's my rant.
That's fair, because I think you would have added so much more. You would have added 15 to your total if you've gotten that last deadlift.
Yeah.
I think it would have sealed. It would have been the perfect day for you.
Yeah, I done that in training, so that's why obviously I was like the total that was needed to get for qualify. I did that in training, and I was strong enough for what I've done in training on the day. It's one of those things where it wasn't like, oh, I was weaker on the day or I had a bad peak or anything. I was strong enough on the day, but I chicken out a little bit mentally. And I don't know if I can always say, what if I did this? And it doesn't really matter. But either way, I'm really glad about the experience. I learned a lot and I finally got comfortable with having competition. Because to be honest, whenever since I started powerlifting, this is going to be in Sweden at least, I always have been winning. And I've never had any opposition. Like, I haven't had anyone close to me. I've always been like, when I was a sub-junior, I was great. When not great in terms of the world, but at least in Sweden. And so I kind of learned when I got into sport to get comfortable without competition. And since I started getting competition, I've been very bad at handling that. I've been very afraid of that. And now this like open worlds taught me to be comfortable with being uncomfortable with like having competition, which I think is really necessary and was very good to get before junior worlds, because there's going to be a battle again. Otherwise I wouldn't be prepared for that, because I was intimidated by that last year. And I think that's why I lost as well, because I was intimidated by having like competition. And this taught me to like actually enjoy having like 5 people in the top, being able to possibly win and do like almost the same total. Obviously Meg, she came out on top and she was really strong and she was way in front of everyone else. But still, like she said it as well, like we all have the capacity to go around the same total, and that I've never experienced. So that was super cool.
Yeah, and it's all achieved when you are still a junior as well. It's nothing to be sort of overlooked. And it's something you should be really proud of.
Thank you.
Yeah. So after getting third in Worlds in your home ground, right? It was 2021, I believe. Sweden.
Yeah.
And you went on to compete at Lithuania again, but this time for another competition. So how was that?
Yeah, so 1 month, I think it was 1 month after, it was bench worlds in Lithuania. So that was my first on the bench worlds. And this was a funny thing, because because at that time previously, like Sweden did this a lot, we would have one lifter compete both in the juniors and the open at the same time. And so I was scheduled to compete in both the juniors and in the open, but then just the day before I was supposed to do juniors, and basically the federation IPF, they decided that this show will not be allowed anymore, and they told us, for all the Swedish lifters that was gonna do this, you're not allowed. You can only choose one division. So everyone else, it was me and like a couple other girls, I don't remember which, but a couple of other girls also had to face the decisions: do we do juniors or do we do open? I had almost a guaranteed gold in juniors. I knew like I was gonna become a world champion if I did juniors for bench press, but I decided to do open. I had almost maybe a guaranteed silver, and maybe I could get gold. It was like because one girl was nominated way higher, and I thought like I won't get gold, but it will be tougher, more competition. I will learn more from it. And so I decided to do open, and that was a very good meet because I was like completely in my own lane. I was really calm because the week before Worlds, I was all over the place. Like I did so many mistakes before that meet because I was all over the place. I was talking to everyone. All of my energy basically went out before the meet had even started. And now this time I learned from that and was like in my own lane, in my own self, confident in myself, and just thinking I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do. I can't control my competition. And I went in and just did my benches, and I actually won on my second bench, which I didn't know. So when I missed my third bench, I was like, oh, sad face. That didn't go well. Now I didn't even get second. I probably got like third. And the coach told me like, congratulations, world champ. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But at the same time, I have to be honest, like I have that open world championships gold in Lithuania. That's also why I felt like going back to Lithuania for open, powerlifting worlds felt like a good thing. Maybe it's an omen, a good sign, but it wasn't. But either way, I learned a lot, but I wasn't happy about it because obviously I was still like, comparing to like, because I won with 112.5 in the 63s. And I think like there wasn't too many, like on bench worlds, sometimes competition isn't, there's not a lot of people participating. And I knew other people were stronger than me in bench press. So it was like, I won that title, but at the time I wasn't happy about it because I'm like, I'm not a world champion.
You felt like you didn't deserve it.
Exactly. But nowadays, one thing I've learned over the years since then is like it's one thing to, be the best at one competition and another competition and everything, but doing it there on the day and being the strongest there, that still means you're a world champion, or it still means like if you're the one who's actually participating in this competition, if you're the one traveling to this competition, you're prepping for it, and on the day you're the strongest of the participants, that still mean it may not be. Yeah, exactly. You're a world champion. It doesn't mean like it. I was thinking like it has to be a world record in order to be a world champion. You have to be the best ever. And now I realize like that's not the case. So I can still like now I can be more proud of. Okay, I actually have that. Obviously, I'm still like I know I can get strong. I'm way stronger now as well. My bench sucked at that time. Like technically, like I had so many weaknesses I didn't even know about. But either way, so. That's like kind of what that taught me, but it was a good and fun meet. And then I had but I also at that time I competed all the time, very often, and like you said before this, like I think I've been on 20 meets. I have so many meets that I participated in since I started, but I was like competing all the time, and that kind of it kind of just made my lifts worse because I never had any time to like recover, because at that time I always went crazy heavy in training as well. So I overshot everything. So not a good sign, like not a good thing when you have back-to-back meets. Don't go heavy all the time.
Your body's not gonna like that.
No. So I obviously my next meet was Europeans after that, and that went really bad. I think I benched like 97.5 or something. Like which was way lower, and I failed 95 in my warm-ups on that meet. It was like I was not in good shape. But that was a learning experience as well.
Yeah, because I think it takes a lot of maturity to understand that, to accept the win. It's fine that if you're not the strongest lifter, as long as you're the strongest on the day, you're the one who flies down to compete. I think it's fine to accept the win.
I think it's one of those things like you have to, like obviously my goal is not necessarily to just win a title. So I'm still gonna appreciate the strongest person, but I think it comes back to the goal. Is your goal to win championships? Then it's sports. Everything can happen on the day. Like anything can happen on the day. You may be the strongest person in the room, but maybe you can show that on the day, and that's sports. Like not the person that's the best in their own gym is not necessarily the best on the platform. That's sports. That's what I like. But then you can also have the goal of just being the strongest, period. And I kind of have both of those. I can appreciate the titles because anything can happen on the day. You can never count on really anything. Nothing is for granted. And then you also have like the part of just being the strongest. But that you can do like in your own gym, and you can prove that to yourself because you have things to chase, for example.
Yeah, I think it's both. It's useful in both like contexts,
Yeah.
and it's good to understand when to prioritize which in whichever scenario you deserve, like you choose. So like in competition, obviously it's fine. I think it would be fine if you sort of put aside being the strongest ever and just focus on what you need to do to win.
Yeah. That's
And
one of those things. Sorry, I distract you.
that's fine.
But distracts you. My English, sometimes I need to warm it up. But what I was gonna say is, for example, I wanted to get the individual records and everything but the bench for open worlds, but we decided to, we could definitely have gone 2.5 kilos more in the squad, which was the plan, which I had in the tank, which we all regret we didn't do, but it was like my belt unclipped on my second attempt in the squad. And then Joey, who's my coach, was like, your belt unclipped? Okay, we want to go safe. And I was like, I told them I 100% got 187.5 because I know how I can grind. So I was like, I can't do that. But they were like, they went 185 and I didn't. When they put the number in, I didn't question it. Like after they put the number in, then I started questioning it. So it was, I wasn't quick enough to make that decision of thinking, what do I have left in the tank? So in the beginning, they said 185. I was like, okay, I guess if you say so. I didn't think for myself. That's a lesson I learned. But my belt unclipped, so we went lighter. But like we could have gone 187.5. That would have been a world record, a junior world record. And then for bench, I probably had 133.5, but that was not according to the plan. The plan was 130. I chickened out and said we go 2.5 kilo less because I had been thinking the prep before this, I cannot do more than 127.5 because I did 127.5, but it was always like I had to be in peak condition to do it. I couldn't do it like regularly with confidence. So I was scared that what if we put in 130 and I do something different and screw it up and then miss, 7.5 kilos on the bar instead. Which we regretted as well. That's like something I learned about myself because I chicken out on those decisions. But either way, we was close there. And the deadlift, obviously, the world record is 216. It's not anymore because there's a girl in the Netherlands. She took it, but I kind of wanted to get it while it still could because I knew it was going to get broken either way. But, I had either way. The point is I had the goals of these individual records, but then we got to the world championships in the open. Junior world records don't matter. And a ship can be great, but like the individual records on this meet, it doesn't matter. But building your total and maximizing, we didn't do that. I didn't maximize what I could lift on the squad. But still, the point is we threw the ideas of like getting records out of the window for the meet. It was like, if it happens, fine. That's really fun. But if it doesn't, that's like also okay, as long as I build my total and, try to like focus on the win instead of focusing on getting this record in the squad. Because then you're thinking about records, and it's fine to have that as a goal. Then you're not thinking about like the placings in the same sense. But if that is needed,
you can't have it all. Yeah,
exactly.
You got to
Usually,
prioritize what you want to achieve.
Yeah. I think it was something most people say, like, if it, like, don't race for certain numbers or a certain total, but if it comes, it comes. Take what's there, basically.
So I think it's more of a recurring theme that we see about all these records. So after whatever happened at Worlds in 2021, you moved on to Worlds in 2023 in Romania last year, and
I did a 2022 as well.
Oh, you did
in Turkey. In Turkey.
Yeah. How did you do?
I came second, actually. So that time I won against Ludovine, who beat me in Romania. For example, I think it was her first World Championships at that time. But so I got second. Samantha Eugene took gold. I had second locked up in my last poll. But we still went for like a number I could hit, and I don't know. We had like second was locked up. I don't know why I didn't go for gold. Like, I think it would have been like a crazy number that I don't think I could have pulled. But like, why didn't I go for it? That's like a regret that I have. Like, I didn't even think about it because I had been thinking I have to, protect my silver the entire prep for this competition. So when that came that I actually could try for gold, I didn't
It
even
didn't
think
occur to
about
you.
it. No, it
Yeah.
didn't occur to me. And afterwards I was like, what? Why? Why didn't I think about that? Like, why didn't I even at least try? And that's when I learned to I can't go into a meet and be super focused about, okay, this girl does this and I do this, so that means I'm gonna get second.
Yeah.
Because obviously I still don't think I could have like actually done it, but I was into my head that it would never occur. Like that opportunity would not come, and it did. And that's why for open worlds I was like, okay, we have 5 people that are close to each other. That means there may be like a small 0.1% chance at least.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And it's better than 0. You're increasing your surface area of luck.
Yeah,
that
exactly. And also like,
yeah,
and also like, if you don't believe it, like, who is? And if you don't believe it, it's like, how is it gonna happen as well? So that's a lesson from that one. But it wasn't like super crazy. Not any like real PRs. I had some injuries that year and everything, but I learned that year, I think I grew the year when I've been growing the most mentally and maturing the most as a lifter is for that Worlds. Because I had like injuries and I had a switch in coach. And at that time, it was really good for me to not be able to use RP, having someone to say exactly what I was supposed to lift so that my ego I could kill my ego and basically like learn to listen to my body and mature as a lifter. And that helped me a lot, which helped me a lot for Romania as well. From the progress to Romania, that was huge because that's when I started with Joey. Basically straight after 2022, that's when I started with Joey.
And moving forward with your performance in Romania, how did you do then? You got second again?
I got second. Yeah.
A bench goal. So just like me. And then you also had third overall best lifter.
That was a nice surprise that I didn't know when we met, for example. I didn't know that. I found out when I got home.
You landed, right?
Yeah, because obviously I went home before the banquet. That's why we met, because we both did. But yeah, I got second. I got bench gold, and I think this meet, I almost got into the exact same mindset during prep that I'm gonna get second. Because, like I said, I was intimidated by competition. And I have to be honest, I wasn't. Yeah, Ludvine. And I must be honest, I was intimidated by her because she seems super confident when you meet her. Like she reeks confidence in a sense when you see her walk. And I noticed that for Europeans the year before when I actually, because like I said, 2022, we both competed at Worlds. I got second, she got third. And then for Europeans, I thought I would become a European champion. She came in, made a ton of progress. I didn't make any progress again, like back-to-back meet, went too heavy, didn't have a good meet. But so she won over me. And I think I was just intimidated by competition. And I started getting into that mindset that I'm probably will get second again, trying to kind of calm myself through like, it's okay if you get second place. And kind of getting to that. And the thing is, I was very short term because my goal has never been, like my ultimate goal through powerlifting has never been a specific meet. To be honest, I don't care about one specific meet, at least not anymore. But at that time, I was getting so short term thinking. Like I was really short term thinking, and I don't know the right word for it, but
tunnel vision.
Yeah, tunnel vision. I had like this tunnel vision that it's this meet, and I couldn't think about my long term goal, which then I started noticing how hard it would be. And instead of embracing the pressure and embracing feeling uncomfortable, I, got intimidated, I got scared, and I started rationalizing becoming second. And I did that for most of my training. And I also did not crack like my nutrition. I was dieting a lot. I had problems with like injuries. My training was not going well because I wasn't overshooting, going too heavy, but I also wasn't stepping back. I never like took a step back and went easy, which means I was like always in a kind of in between place. It's one of these things that I think it's Jesus who told his students, you're either warm or you're cold. You're never somewhere in between. You're cold or you're warm. Either you want to do this or you don't. Like, the worst thing you can be is somewhere in between. And I was in between. So I didn't make any progress in training. And I did nationals before that. And I cracked the bench after the bench rule. So that's the only reason why I did a PR total for Worlds. But my squat was basically the same. My deadlift was basically the same. And I think this is just because I went in with the wrong mindset during that prep and everything. But like when I traveled to Romania, I realized this. What the heck am I doing? What is this mindset that I'm going around with? Like, what am I thinking? And I regretted myself, but I decided to, you know what? I actually am strong enough to win. Like, I am strong enough to actually win this. And she is also super strong. So it's just going to come down to who's strongest on the day. And, I realized that, and I was like, I'm going to give it my all. Stop pitting yourself and everything and making excuses. Just give it your all. And that shift just made me, like, it made such a difference for like the last day when I was when I was in Romania waiting for the competition, and during the competition as well, because I honestly had fun during the competition as well. And during the entire meet, I thought, I can win this. Like, I was confident during the entire meet, which was a really nice feeling. Then obviously I pulled my last deadlift. She's a stronger puller than me. She pulled, and I saw her finish the lift. I was happy for her, but also it's like went down and started crying because it was like, I was there in top, and it was 2 kilos. That's the change. But obviously, so it was a very good learning experience because I learned this. I learned a lot through prep and everything from my mindset, and I was devastated, but I'm very, very thankful for it now, because I think that same with Open. I think it's a blessing in disguise that I still haven't been able to win. Like, even though I've been trying since I started being a junior, and I've always been close, because I have not been ready. Like, I haven't been mature enough to actually be able to take it. And if I would have won, I would have believed that I had like some kind of golden touch syndrome, that everything I did was good, and probably not be able to learn from it. And so I'm very happy about it now. But so I came second. And I was very devastated. I was very mad about the bench there as well. When we met, I was like, crap, because I thought I would do more in bench. But obviously, I took bench gold. I missed my last bench, or it got overturned by the jury, rightfully so, because I lifted my butt. They just didn't notice on my first and second, because I apparently did it then too. I just didn't know. I refined that, so I don't have that issue anymore. But yeah. So that's basically my thought process about it now, like in aftermath. I don't really care too much about the bench anymore. It's like what I was thinking about then. It's like, it is what it is.
Yeah, and you've accumulated so many lessons about like maturity, understanding luck, confidence. Yeah. And do you feel like it has shaped you to the lifter you are today?
Definitely. Although I definitely wouldn't say just this meet. I would say like every meet that I've done accumulated over time, because I think that I've been failing so many times. Like, even though I've been ahead in Sweden, I've been failing so many times. And I think one of my best qualities is, I have to be honest, I don't think I'm the most talented, gifted person, whatever, but I think that I have this ability to learn from my failures a lot and grow from them. It sucks in the moment. I'm a sensitive person. I cry. It sucks, but I always take something from it, and whatever it is. And there's never been, I think that it's just like, not necessarily only in powerlifting, but in like everything, there's never been a case where something, because I've been through a lot throughout childhood and through my teenage years and in school and stuff, but every time, it's still one of those things where I've always been able to take something good from it. I don't have anything, absolutely nothing in my life that I regret happening to me. Absolutely nothing. I am extremely thankful for all of it. And I think that's just something I had to learn at an early age, and that's why I have it today. So I have like these lessons, and also like the long-term goal I have in powerlifting is that it doesn't matter if I fail 10 more years, I'm still gonna keep going. I don't care. Like the long-term goal is the one that matters. But I do want to win, though. I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, it's okay that I fail. Like I'm gonna give it my all, and I do want to do it. But it's I think you get the point.
Yeah, like what you did in 2022. I think it's important to come in thinking you want to win.
You disappeared a little bit. I don't know if it's me, though.
Oh, sorry about
that. No worries.
Yeah, I think is it fine now?
Yeah, it's fine now.
All right. So, perfect. So, ever since Open Worlds, it's been almost 2 months already. How have you progressed, and how have your lifts developed?
Right now, I have to be honest. I think I am way stronger, and I think especially my bench. My bench has been progressing, but I'm gonna keep that a little bit secret. Sorry, but I am. No, but I think I've been working on weaknesses, but I have to be honest as well. This is my third back-to-back meet, and that's why since Worlds I have not been pushing, and that's just because I've done that mistake, like I said, when I did Worlds in years. Yeah. Exactly. And I did one heavy, and what I noticed, like the first time I ever did a back-to-back meet again, because I used to skip doing Euros last year, so the first time I ever did a back-to-back meet after that is doing junior nationals this year, and the week before that deciding, so you're 7 weeks out from Open Worlds, deciding to actually do Open Worlds, to actually like sign up for it, because it was just a very spontaneous decision, but then I knew I would have 7 weeks. And most people say that's not good. And I just realized like, okay, this just means, because I've already been going into peaking and stuff, this just means that I cannot go too heavy. I can't afford an overshoot. I can't afford it. I have to be on point. And that, then I had the best prep I've had in my life towards for Open Worlds. And, now I've been kind of doing the same thing. I had like 4 weeks or so, a block of training after Worlds where I was pushing, like in terms of my weaknesses, not in terms of like 1 rep max, like pushing in that sense, but pushing reps. I did a lot of volume PRs, a lot of rep PRs, especially in the bench. And like just trying to do that instead. So I had like some volume PRs and stuff and trying to push on my weaknesses. And then, and right now I'm in like, I had a deload last week, and this is like the first week back. So it's like, it's still kind of easy. I'm just like gradually getting back to it. And that's just because we're going to see like the last week before Worlds, then I'm going to know like what condition I will be in and like probably what I can do. But until then, it's like stepping up. And that's just because, there's not a lot of time to push and really train until like I could obviously go way heavier now to try to prove myself how strong I'm going to be for the meet. I did a 530 total a few weeks, like just 2 weeks ago. But so I can obviously like do these kind of things, but it won't give me anything because then I'm just going to be weak on meet day. So I try to just stay patient and be like, it's going to come just like it's done in the past. I'm going to be strong when it comes to it in the meet, so more focus on that. And obviously a good thing now is I dieted very harshly for Open Worlds. I don't have to do so now. I still haven't been had to do it, so that's kind of nice as well, because I got a stomach flu sort of thing, and I lost some weight, and then even though I've been eating, I haven't gone back up, which is kind of nice, because now I don't have to diet. It was like 1 week where I was like, I got a lot of rest. So actually, like, I was still strong in training. Like, I equal like PRs, even though I was sick. So I missed nothing in training. I got a lot of rest, a lot of time to watch One Piece. So I got halfway through that. It was a good thing. And but now I can eat and my body weight is fine. So I think that was like a blessing in disguise as well. I see everything as a blessing. But yeah.
It's great to hear. Not so great about the stomach flu, but I'm glad you are making the best of it.
Yeah. It's never fun to have a stomach flu.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. So now it is your final Junior Worlds. And heading into it, you'll be up against one of the best lifters in the world, Jade.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I am so excited. And again, I'm so thankful that I did Open Worlds, because if I had found this out, if I didn't do Open Worlds and I found out that Jade was going to come into the 63s, oh my God, like I would be shit. But now I'm like, I appreciate it, because when I started prepping for Open Worlds and I had competition, I got so dialed in just because I knew there was competition. And so now I appreciate it, and I also have come to the conclusion, like, okay, I want to become a really good powerlifter. I want to become one of the best in the world. If I'm gonna be honest, like that's the goal. If I get there, that's another thing. But that's what I want. And I can't have that goal and be afraid of and like not like competition. I want the sport to grow. I help a ton of people start their first competitions, but I can't be like, no, I don't like people come my weight class. Like, I can't have that. So I'm really excited to have Jade there, because obviously, she's not only a world champ, she's been podiuming at Sheffield, and she has world records, and I think we are very close. And I completely understand the decision to go 63 as well. I know in King of the Lifts they were like wondering why, but I obviously I don't know completely why, but I think it was to have fun, and also the world record in the 57. She can't beat that, considering Sheffield, and that's kind of, it's cool to be able to compete against someone like that. And I got two big deadlifters lifting after me, so like I'm gonna be the subtotal person
as well.
But I also got this a Swedish girl also competing in the 63, so we have another Swedish girl, and she and I are really close on the bench, so there will be like a bench battle, but I don't care about the bench, to be honest, because because I'm competing against Jade. I don't think I have the time to think about bench. I just need to bench what I can bench, that kind of thing. But I am really excited, because what I know, like, at one point I was like, this is my last year as a junior, and I've been trying so long, and I still haven't been able to get that gold. So like, what if I miss this time? And sometimes I have like, it wakes me up during night. Like, I still like, what if I fail again? But I kind of not made my peace, because I don't want that happening. If it happens, I would be super sad. But again, I would probably learn a lot from it. But I just want to do my absolute all, and also like have fun and enjoy the competition, and like, let's see who's the strongest on the day. Again, like that's what matters the most, and because I can't control my competition, but I want to make myself proud towards moving towards my long-term goal, basically. And this is just a stepping stone. Even though it is my last Junior Worlds, it is still a stepping stone. So there is an urgency, like I want to, it's my last Worlds. But at the same time, I am extremely excited, and I got even more excited. Like, when I found out that Jade was gonna go, I was like, yes. Like, okay. It's because thanks to Open Worlds, now it motivates me as well, and I'm not afraid of it anymore as well. That's like the biggest thing. I'm not afraid of Jade coming in and being like, oh shit, because I would have been.
If you didn't go to Open Worlds, you feel like you would be afraid?
Yeah, I think so. Just because I wouldn't have like been able to make up my mind about competition, or maybe not. Maybe I would have done so then, but I think I wouldn't be. When I went into Open Worlds, it was like, okay, I do this, and there's a ton of competition, because I didn't want to do it at first, because I wanted it to be granted that I'd win if I would go, and that can never happen. And then I was like, okay, I have to get comfortable with this. So I think it helped me to, get excited. I still think I think I probably would have been afraid, if I'm gonna be honest.
That's fine. You're not afraid now. I think that's what matters.
Yeah. Now I'm excited. I think that it's a fun thing, and it's like it makes training in this prep so much more fun. And obviously I don't care. I'm gonna, I delete Instagram. I'm hard to get in touch with. I live in the woods. I'm one of those kind of persons. So it's a little bit like, I know that it will get more eyes. Yes, but considering the fact that Jade is competing there, the class will get more eyes. But last year we had Joy, Sistina, who's huge on social media as well. So it was like, got a lot of eyes then as well. But it's like, so I don't care about that. But obviously it's good for the sport. And it is fun as well. And it's fun to have like that big battle. Because to be honest, in 2021, yes, we had the Italians. But, I think it was like 2 per people lifting above 200 kilos. It was those 2. And then the year after that, 2 people. And, almost none were lifting 180 kilos in the squad. Now everyone does this. Like almost everyone. Like it's so crazy because it's like so many people lifting 170, 180 kilos in the squad and 190. I know there's like American lifting like 200 kilos in the squad now. It's coming as well. So it's like there is competition. I know I don't know any other girl than Jade, but I know Joey told me yesterday there was going to be a 3-way battle. So I was like, 3? Okay. I'm up for it. So because I haven't checked the nominations. I haven't checked Instagram. Like I haven't checked Instagram since Worlds, just because I've been working and it's I've just been training and I've been watching One Piece obviously. Yeah. There's a lot of episodes in that.
Yeah, it's about 1,000. I don't think I can finish it before Worlds.
Yeah. I would have 100% finished it. I'm taking a break because I got too obsessed. I'm at like 550 now, Jesus. And I started watching at Open Worlds.
Oh my
FYI. So that's why I knew I would finish it. So I'm taking a little bit of a break until then, because I got so obsessed that, too obsessed. Anime is difficult. So we'll see.
Yeah. So earlier you talked about helping people go on to their first competition as powerlifters. So I think a lot of us want to know how you got into powerlifting and coaching. So share us a bit more about your story.
So I guess my story is not a uncommon one, especially for girls. I started going to the gym when I was 16. Or I started training from home, didn't tell anyone because I was embarrassed to train, to be honest. For example, I broke my phone when training outside in the woods, and I couldn't tell anyone because I was like, then they're going to know that I'm training and I'm going to be shamed, because at the time I had friends that were shaming people that train because they were like, they care about how they look and try to get hotter. Like that's selfish, for example. And so I was kind of scared to do it. But I wasn't happy with how I looked, and I had some very bad relationships with friends that was very destructive, and a lot of trauma from that is very personal. But so coming out of that, I think I needed some kind of control, getting back control a little bit. So I started training and I started paying attention to nutrition. I didn't know anything. Like I thought I searched for homemade protein bars and I did them with just chocolate and like oats, and I thought that was a protein bar. And I mean like normal chocolate with a lot of sugar as well. I added like extra sugar and I thought that was healthy. Like I had no idea what I was doing. And I trained from home with like mini bands, and then I had like a small little dumbbell. But then eventually, I started following like fitness influencers and stuff, and eventually like I got into the gym. Then I realized what calories was. Finally found out what this was and thought, bonus if it's as low as possible. Ate like 800 calories max for like 2 months straight. Was super tired. Like I had no energy. Went to a school doctor because of it. He told me to stop training for 2 weeks. I started crying and like vowed to never take help again because I was like, terrible. I'm not gonna stop training. So kept training, didn't change anything. And I was working in stables as well. I had horses because I've been having horses and been horseback riding since I was 7. And but so basically, I had like a work day. I remember I was eating like a rice cake with, you know, a tiny bit of a banana and peanut butter for like my 2 of them for like, that was my lunch and no breakfast. And, you know, it was freezing cold, 30K steps just from work. You have like 2 competition race horses in both of your hands, and you go with them and they like kick you, and, you know, horse people, they know what I'm talking about, and shovel like dirt and everything. It was like a tough job. And I got home, I trained for 2 hours for like, I did legs in the gym, and I was starving. And mom had like bought like all the cookies and chocolates that you can even think about. And I was standing there, and it's like 2 hours left until dinner with the family. And I was like, if I eat dinner with the family, you know, it's going to be something not as healthy. And it was like, I think it was like, I was going to have hummus with like carrots and maybe some chicken, because I was not going to eat with it. But I still thought it would be unhealthy. So I was like, can't eat. And I stood there for like, I was standing there for like 30 minutes looking at this chocolate and thinking like, can I eat this? No, you're disgusting. You can't do that. Should I eat this? No. And this is kind of when I realized, okay, I had an eating disorder. But then I took one taste, like just one taste. I finally managed to get myself to one taste. And after that, I benched so hard that my stomach was in pain, everything that I could find, and could hold myself. I couldn't sleep and was training obviously the next morning. And then I had 1 week when I could hold myself to being strict again and eating peas for lunch in school. And then I benched again. And then, you know, after that, I could only keep myself strict for like 2 days. And then I started benching like every single day. But the one thing that was positive with benching that I'm really happy about today, and today I help, you know, a ton of people to actually get over binge eating as well. Because usually the cause is, you know, trying to eat too little. But one day I was like benching like crazy. I think I could have like 10 donuts in 5 minutes regularly.
Oh my God.
I was, because the thing is, I always been a big food girl as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've been competing against the guys since I was little on who could eat the most. So, you know, it's like I could eat a lot, and then I was benching. But so one day I was gonna do like hip thrusts, like every other girl, in the gym. And, you know, normally I had been doing like, I've gotten up to like 100 kilos. Thought that was super cool. But on this day that I've been benching like crazy and had a nap before, I could increase to 180 kilos. Like I used to increase, and I was like, what is going on? And I stood there like, did someone see this? And that's kind of when I kind of realized that, whoa, if you eat a lot, you get stronger. Exactly. And at that point, it didn't change immediately. I still benched, but I also started following like from UK, some like people that were powerlifting, and, you know, with people that also weren't super skinny, but they were, you know, training to get stronger, and they could have burgers and they were eating. And, you know, this felt like, okay, this is me. You know, I've always been strong. Like I haven't always been strong. I've been horseback riding and I was climbing a lot as a kid. That's why I got strong. I was just moving around a lot. So I could always beat the guys in arm wrestling until I was like 13 years old. And but it was like, and I was like super tiny and short, because I am short, as you know. But so basically, it's just like I started following people, and I started like incorporating squats, bench, and deadlifts in my own training. And I started to, you know, instead of skipping breakfast, I actually started to have a good breakfast because I wanted to be strong. I started eating lunch in school because I wanted to be strong when I trained afterwards. And then I actually tried in the capital. I was down and visiting my sister. I had a lot of trauma at that time as well, regarding the other trauma that I had before. So it was the exact same thing. But so I was like at my sister visiting and thought maybe I should move to her and you know, change schools and everything. Didn't do that, thankfully. I would have hated it. But I didn't do that. But so she actually drove me to a powerlifting gym so that I could try it out. And it was like fun, nothing crazy. Like they just helped me a little bit with my bench press. Like I learned like just a little bit about my bench press, but it wasn't crazy. But then I got home and I started looking at like powerlifting gyms in my town. And I found that there is this guy who does a world record in the bench press of like, it was like one of the first 400 kilos in equipped for the heavyweights. And I was like, there's a person in our town that have been lifting a world record. How cool isn't that? I was telling like my dad and my stepmom, and my stepmom said, but Alba, do you know that, because my dad, he's a heavy diver. I don't know, but he's a diver, but you know, the people that stand on the bottom of the ocean and like builds bridges from the bottom of the ocean, that's what he does. And so they have like this, basically this warehouse almost where they build things and where they repair things or repair things. And there's this strongman group that rents a part of that warehouse to train, and have made it to like sort of a bad gym basically before strongman. And she has told me, did you know that guy who has that world record, he trains in your father's warehouse? And I was like, what? That's what she was like, he talks to him sometimes. I was like, wow, that's super cool. And this is like 17-year-old Alba. And then a few days later, my dad calls me and says, I've been talking to this guy now, and we can come and train with him. And I was like, oh wow. And to be honest, like for my dad, is some reference, like my dad, when my dad did this, I think I've never been so thankful for my dad, because he is the best, but he hasn't always been around, because my stepmom is bipolar. She has like every mental disease you can think about it. And my stepsister did as well. So I was always like, you know, on the outside looking in through having like, having to deal with a lot of mental illnesses with my family, and sometimes suicide tries as well. So it was like kind of rough, not rough, but you know, dad was always there for them. But so he didn't have as much time for me, but he still was the best dad. And he's always been himself, and he's been a great role model and everything. But so then, you know, my dad, he really, some things that I did, like I was drawing when I was a kid a lot. He really, whenever I found something that he could see that I liked, he always like pushed on it and tried to help me with exactly supported it. And I think he knew immediately, like Alba, she likes this powerlifting thing. So he did that immediately. And, you know, my dad didn't really have time to come to like school counseling things, but he could go with me when I trained with this guy and like actually give me a ride. And it was like, that was amazing. And then I trained with this guy, and he was like, I can coach you, and I'm going to coach you. He coached me for free, and we're going to compete. And I was like, I want to compete. So yes, finally. And, you know, I had been watching nationals, open national, and saw that the person that are last, I lift the same as them. That means I can be at nationals next year, at open nationals. So I was like thinking these things, and I was like, I can get there, and I wanted it. And then, you know, I just started, and I've been aiming high since then. So that's basically like the story. And since then as well, you know, that's when it really happened. I only ate for performance. And, you know, that's when I stopped binge eating as well. It took a long time. I would say it took like until 2 years ago until I finally got completely rid of like behaviors. Now I can say I am completely 100% rid of all eating like disordered behaviors that I had, which most people can say. But I can say that I had that 100%. But until I took a long time still, but it like really, really changed. And that's like why I also now help other people with this, because a lot of people try to lose weight when they start training, which is boring as hell. And it's also one of these things where you go into the gym to punish yourself rather than go in and see what you can do. And rather than go in and get better for yourself and build on your confidence, you go in to literally punish yourself because you're disgusting, for example. Try to take people like that to get into strength training. And I coach a lot of older people, like above 30, above 50 even, that, you know, they're in pain. You know, they want to strength train to get stronger, to get more energy. And almost everyone still have been in like the weight loss industry before. You know, they just want to eat food. And want to get strong. And then I help them get strong. And then I'm like, you have a good technique now. Do you want to compete? And we help them towards the first competition, which is like mind changing. And, you know, they do their first competition in powerlifting, which is amazing to see. And you know, they get the realization, wow, even though I'm at this age, I can be good at something, which transferred to all other areas of their life. Like, it's not just lifting a bar. It's like, we all know, like, powerlifting was more, I think everyone that got into powerlifting, it's more than just lifting a bar. It's more
I
than
think
just
it's
a sport.
being comfortable with discomfort. I think that's the main theme of powerlifting. Yeah.
Exactly, 100%. And so that's what we do. And then you have regularly like someone qualifying for Master Nationals, for example. I have a
Yeah.
lot of people at Master Nationals, and like getting to the point where you can actually participate in the Nationals. And that's why we have this project now. We're going to open it again sometime soon. My goal is to have it like being able to be open it at all times, like Operation Nationals. And that's just this, taking people to make their first competition in powerlifting, because it changes people's lives on a deeper level. And having the goal of a nationals just to be able to challenge yourself, to prove like you can do things, and because it helps with life, because life is uncomfortable,
Yeah.
like you said. That's it. So that's the really long rant story about how I got into powerlifting and how I got into coaching, I guess, kind of as well. So that's why like powerlifting it means so much more to me as well, than just like championships. And that's why, you know, one championships, I want to do my best, but it's always also like, it's okay if it doesn't, because I know I won't stop, if that makes sense.
Yep. So thank you for sharing with us your story. And before I end this episode, is there any final things you'd like to say to the audience?
I would definitely like to say that, first of all, like one like a motivating thing for everyone is just because one thing that I've been thinking about a lot from starting powerlifting that I want to show people is impossible isn't impossible. Like, it can happen. And what I mean by that is, yeah, maybe you can't get wings and fly to the moon without a rocket or something, but maybe, you know, the one thing that you're scared about trying, maybe you can actually do that. No matter if it's like powerlifting related or any other area of the life, it's possible as well. And having those encourage, like, it's gonna be hard, and a little bit of what you said actually, because I think that's being comfortable being uncomfortable, and training that to a sense can be really good. And then obviously, I just want to say, if someone is interested, to not go into coaching, but if someone is interested in coaching, there is the possibility of reaching out and asking, of course, as well. Yeah, but that's it. But yeah, but I think what you said was really good, and it was nice to talk to you again, since we haven't been in touch since Romania.
Yeah, it's been nice catching up with you, and thank you so much for sharing your story and hopping on.
Yeah, no worries at all. Thank you for allowing me to come on and listening to me ranting and rambling a lot. I tend to do that a lot, so I hope it's okay. But so thank you. It was really nice.
Yeah, and thank you so much, everyone. And I will see you guys in the next episode. And Alba, I'll see you at the airport, hopefully.
Oh yeah, probably. I hope so. At some random place.
Yeah. All right. See you guys, everyone.
See you.